Hello. Hello, thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. Thanks to Art Dubai, thanks to the Global Art Forum team, and thanks to you for being here with us. I'll speak about the Palestinian Museum, but I'll try maybe to focus on one particular issue, because as you can imagine, this is a museum in the making, and I lost my voice.
Try the other one.
Hello. Yeah. So it's a museum in the making, and there are many issues that we deal with, many projects, many programs. But within the context of this presentation, I'll try to tell you about one particular aspect that us as a new museum we're trying to deal with and try to kind of figure out our role within a context that is very particular, which is Palestine. I don't need to kind of explain to you what living under occupation is and what a museum that would need to represent Palestinians, and not only Palestinians who live within the boundaries of Palestine, but also all the diaspora. We have more than half of the Palestinian population living in different parts of the world, and this museum needs to also represent them. So in that sense, one of the projects that we started dealing with is the issue of archives. And with the absence of a government that has the means to start setting up a national archive, Palestinians have taken upon themselves over the years different institutions, universities, research institutions in different parts of the world, not only in Palestine, but also in Lebanon and in the US and elsewhere, to kind of start collecting information, documents, what have you, about the history of Palestine and Palestinians. And then we, as we were, kind of starting to discuss the idea of the Palestinian Museum, several people came up and thought that naturally this museum would be the place where these archives would kind of be housed, would be kept, and then through that would be disseminated. But you might also think that people who've worked for many, many years to try to gather this information, find it, they would not readily come and just give this all away to some new institutions, regardless who's there and who's responsible, and regardless of the whatever assurances we can give them. So I started thinking that maybe the museum needs to think differently. Instead of trying to convince people to give us, be it a collection, documents, be it archives of all sorts, I thought maybe we should start thinking about how connections, the internet, and being connected online, creating a network that would transcend the borders and barriers and the boundaries that we have to face, is something that maybe the museum can invest in. So instead of going and asking these institutions to give us physically these documents, to try to convince them that maybe we can figure out a way where we can share them through an online portal. It so happens that a lot of these institutions that I spoke to are, as you would imagine in this era, everybody's trying to digitize whatever they have. Everybody's trying to put online through a website, through all sorts of online services and digital archives, whatever they have physically, for fear that these things might get lost, might in the context of Palestine might be destroyed. So a lot of these institutions are doing that, or trying to do that, or looking for solutions, looking for the money, looking for software and hardwares to do this kind of work. But what's so ridiculous in this kind of situation is that each and every one of them is trying to do that on their own. Meaning no one is talking to the other about, okay, what would be the best solution to digitize archives? What have you, X institution, found out in terms of what kind of hardware is needed, what kind of software is needed, what kind of programming is needed, what kind of expertise is needed to do that? So each and every one of them is like an island on their own, you know, trying to figure out or trying to create the wheel. And so I thought that maybe the role of the museum here can be a sort of the in-between, the mediator, the interface that can come in between all these different initiatives and convince them that maybe together we can figure out a system where the taxonomy or the classification of this information and or how we technically digitize, or what kind of equipment we use and what kind of formats we use to kind of upload all this information, you know, we could maybe, you know, share that and first do it for much cheaper than each and everyone would do it, and then all of them would be able not only to see their archive, you know, disseminated through the internet, but would also be able to access other archives and have far more information than what they have. I didn't show them any slides. So what do you mean 1 minute? You go click. No, I don't need it. I'm joking, because this PowerPoint is about something else. And so this is I think what, you know, us as institutions in this context, and in a place where the resources are very limited and actually diminishing as we speak. So it's not like everybody has all the means and all the technical know-how and all the money that they can spend on doing this, on digitizing and archiving and creating websites and sharing them and doing them. Why don't we, you know, kind of come together and share the information, share the knowledge, share the know-how, and come up with solutions that can serve more than one institution, and hence create a national archive at the end of the day, where you will find all the information that you would want as an audience, not only an audience sitting in Palestine, but an audience anywhere in the world, without the need to figure out what is the website of so-and-so research institution, what is the URL address of so-and-so university department, what is the phone number of so-and-so person in order to speak to. And so this is the kind of, I think, logic that we need to start utilizing in our work nowadays as museums, as institutions who have been given the chance to do something about our work in art and history. And so these are pictures from other projects in the museum. Thank you.
And I've got to try and multitask and do them all at once. So I will open up to questions. If you can start to kind of indicate to me that you have burning questions, then I'll kind of keep looking out there. But to begin with, I think that I'll kind of ask a few questions to all of you to kind of get the conversation going. And do feel free to interject if you have questions for each other as well. Perhaps one good place to start is that I've become very interested in the fact that you all kind of associate with or use the word museum in a slightly different way.